You guys want better video quality for your face capture, for your streams or your YouTube videos, or maybe even your Zoom calls? Today we're going to show you how to do it with a digital camera or a DSLR camera. These settings work for both, so let's get right into it. So right guys, what you're going to need for this is obviously, your camera, HDMI cable, which mine's already plugged into the bottom of my camera, capture card, and maybe a tripod or a mount to put your camera on. First thing you want to do is make sure you can run your camera without the battery. You want to take your battery out because if you leave this in, because we're going to be running this off USB, your battery will eventually degrade, become completely useless. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to get rid of the battery. Next, you want to make sure your camera has a clean HDMI output. The best way to do this is find the model number of your camera and Google it because there's thousands of cameras out there. There's no way I could validate all of these as working. Next, we're going to need, a USB power cable. What we're going to do, we're going to run that round the side. For now, we're going to plug our power in. Going to power on our camera. This might take a few seconds. Let me just lift this so you guys can see what's happening. Ignore the smeary mess on top of the camera. This camera hasn't been used in a long time. I'm just going to select English and I'm just going to click cancel. It's because my camera hasn't been used in a long time. Setup process. It's kicking back in, but for that, we don't need to worry. They're going to flip. There you go. And then next, what we're going to do is plug our HDMI cable into our capture card. Mine's already plugged into my PC. It doesn't have to be one like this. It can be one of these fake Elgato ones. These are just like $20 on Amazon. We're going to plug that into our HDMI input. Next, you're going to go into your camera settings. Obviously, again, for each camera is different. You're going to find out what resolution you're running at and your frame rate because we're going to want to match that in OBS settings, okay? So once you've done that, we'll then switch over to OBS. Right, so now we're in OBS. We're going to go over setting up the capture card. Now, this can be done over USB. But the problem is a lot of cameras use USB 2.0 for their output, for video output. Which means you're only going to be able to run it at about 720p at an extremely low bit rate. And we don't want that because then your video quality is going to suck. It's going to be pixelated and you're going to be a lot less happy. You'd be better off with a webcam, which is why we're doing the capture card route. So I thought I'd give that little heads up. So now we're in OBS. What we're going to do, we're going to click add. Go to video capture device. We're going to call this just cam. We're going to click OK. And it might not pop up straight away. Okay, also my face is terrifyingly huge there. Let's shrink that down. So if it doesn't, you just can click devices. You might have things like your webcam in here. You might already have capture cards. This is a clean version of OBS, so we have nothing. So we're going to click USB video. We're going to go to resolutions. We're going to go to custom. The preview's going to disappear. We haven't broken anything. Don't panic. We're going to select the resolution of the camera's output. So if your camera outputs at 720p, 1080p, 4K, that's what you're going to select here. Mine's 1080p. As I said, this is an old camera. It's a bit dusty as well. All right, so 1080p. Output settings. Now, I did tell people to check the cameras. My camera outputs at 25 frames per second. So what we're going to do is select 25 frames. The camera might freeze for a second, but it'll come back. Video format. This will depend on what capture card you're using. I'm using a very cheap one, so mine's got MJPEG in there. We can leave that on any color space. We're going to set this to rec.709. It'll freeze for a second, then come back. Color range, we want full color. And we don't want audio. So we'll do capture audio only. We'll leave that setting, but then we'll change that after. Okay. So if your camera has a built-in mic, so we're going to click OK. And then in our audio mixer, you'll see we now have one. Whoops, you can't see because my camera is in the way. You will now see we have one called cam. What we're going to do, we're just going to mute that. We don't want that bringing audio. Now, if you want your camera to look better or change your colors, what we're going to do is right click on your camera. We're going to click filters. Go and click add. I'm going to apply a lot. We'll just call it apply lot. Yeah, why not? Then we're going to select our lot. We're going to go with this one. I don't know how to say it. I apologize. Okay, it looks terrible right now. Don't panic. What we'll do, turn it down a bit. We only want it on a little bit. You see how it smooths out the colors now? And what we'll do is we'll apply another lot over the top. This one, we want teal, lows, orange, highs. Also going to bring that down just a little bit, and you can see the camera's starting to look more and more accurate. My skin's a little bit more orange right now than the one that you see me in the top left, but that's just because it's a different camera. Got to click close on that. Now make sure you scale your camera, and then bring your display capture back, and there you go. Oops, you can see one of my faults. So that's how you use your digital camera, DSLR camera. This will also work with, let me grab it, action cameras. Action cameras have a way wider field of view, so just bear that in mind. But any camera with a clean HDMI output and a clean HD output should work. Obviously, you need to set your camera not to go to sleep if it has a standby setting. Remember to take your battery out, and you'll be perfectly fine. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I will catch you in the next one.